thank you so much. I hope that 45 minutes of my time will give you guys some value. And I wanted to say thank you.
Oh, yeah.
This is the man that have created part of my success, actually a lot of my success.
You did it too.
So I just wanna say he is the guy that I always go to, look up to, and any question I have, I run to him. He's the one that actually get me started on door knocking. And so I'm gonna do a breakdown to scene. I don't have a lot of time. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give you a quick kind of like how my day work when I go out and door knock. And then I'm gonna just let you guys just ask any questions you guys have, right? So 3 things I'm gonna go over today. The first thing I'm gonna go over is how do you door knock as a new agent when you don't have anything? You don't have client, you don't have listing, you don't have buyer. How do you go about it, right? And then number 2, I'm gonna go over the step of how I door knock. And then number 3, I'm gonna go over the step of what do I say when I go and door knock. And then that's it. And then I can, answer any question. Hopefully I don't cuss too much.
I think they're gonna be okay.
Okay. So I want to play this video for you guys first.
I'm gonna turn off the light just for the video.
You skipped the video. Yeah, skip the video. You skipped it. Got a little back. That's what happened. I was like, he skipped it. Yeah. He skipped it. Go back.
So
He hits the skip button instead of the play button.
Girl Scout cookie lovers, listen up. I don't have to tell you, but for those who might not know, Jen, it is Girl Scout cookie season. Usually we see troops selling or delivering cookies within our communities, but
this year, ordering these delicious treats may look a little bit different. Let's bring meteorologist Danielle Giuliano into the conversation. Danielle, a lot of us look forward to this, myself included, every year. What are they doing differently this year?
Yeah, good morning, Zach and Jen. I spoke with the Girl Scouts of Gateway Council yesterday, and they said because of the pandemic, they had to get pretty innovative this year in order to sell those cookies.
500,000 cookies. That's how many Thin Mints, Tagalongs, Samoas, and the 9 other cookie flavors that'll be out in the community this weekend.
This is our mega drop where troops come and pick up their cookies. So it'll be the first cookies in hand this Girl Scout season.
And with the pandemic, the Girl Scouts have adapted multiple ways to get your cookies.
And so it's more critical than ever for them to be able to adapt, learn how businesses are even adapting during COVID pandemic.
You're gonna find this tough difficulties on Rick Bennett. How to actually operate systems. Well.
Hello, I'm Alice. Would you like to buy some Girl Scout cookies? What kind would you like? My favorite kind is purple chocolate. What is yours? Well, you can buy them $5 in each. So, would you like one?
Wait, it's Nagel, right? You want to say not Nagel?
Like in general, in a day, how many cookies do you think she sold? No?
200.
More.
150.
More.
250.
Wow,
More.
300.
More.
400.
I'm sorry?
1,000?
No?
600.
Yes. She
Wow.
sold 600 box of cookies in one day. She sold 200 of cookies in 1 hour.
Oh
So
my
let's do
God.
the math. $5 a box of cookies. If she was selling 600 cookies in one day, how much does she make? 3,000. And how much is this girl? Yes.
6.
Yes.
Wow.
So she made $3,000 in one day selling 600 box of cookies.
I'm going selling. Wait, I can't do that.
I'm done with that.
Okay.
Who do you think she's a good donor?
Yeah.
I think she has the skill set.
Yeah.
Does she look prepared? What does she do that make you guys think she look prepared? When she got off on trying to sell her cookies.
Uniform.
Great. Yeah. What else?
She had her speech.
Yes,
She was practicing when nobody was answering.
exactly. Yeah. What else?
Persistent.
She was persistent. What else?
Knew what she was selling.
Yeah, all the above, right?
Yeah.
So when you go out and you don up, let's talk about a new agent. When you go out and don up, do you just walk out and just say, hey, today it seems like a good day and I am gonna go and walk and just don up as many homes as I can? Or what do? Walk me through the process, how you do as a new agent. Who is in here is new? Raise your hand. Nobody?
Pretty new. Hands go up. We know there's a
Just
few in
brand
there.
new. You haven't did any transaction or you chose one. Okay.
You're done.
So have you guys been out and done up? No? Have any of you? No? Yeah? Okay, and what do you do when you go out and done up?
Me?
Yeah?
I knock on the doors and I usually am knocking around just listed areas of where we took listings, so we have information about the house that we're selling. And then that also opens up into more information about what their home is and if we have potential for buying, selling, or investing.
Okay. Anything else? No? So when I started this business, right? My goal was just to make X amount of money. Actually, my goal was to make 100 grand and get the hell out of this business. But I really did not like real estate. I didn't like real estate. I have a brother in real estate, I have a sister in real estate, and I don't feel like my family need another real estate agent. But because I have a student loan debt and I was looking for something to pay out my debt. So I asked Rick, I asked him, I came and say, hey, I want to become a real estate agent. He said, great, here, take the test, the practice test, get your license and come back. And I said, okay, after I took the test, I came back and I asked him, so Rick, how can I make this much amount of money? And he said, this is what correct me if I'm wrong. He said, well, the first thing you need to do is you need to practice your script.
Right.
The morning is sand, you need to come every day to practice your script. Second, you need to go out and you need to don up to practice. And I did not like don up at first, right? I actually think don up stupid at first because I was like, why do I need to go out and don up on home? Why can't I just pick up the phone and make that phone call? And then I tried to pick up the phone, make the phone call. I didn't like it. So I'm like, he's been in the business for a long time. He was a rookie of the year. He must know something that I don't know. So I followed him. I took what he said. I went out and I did it, right? So the way how I run my business is really simple. I like to make things extremely simple, as simple as it can, because I think we're making this business way too complicated, overthought, overthinking about many things. So as a new agent, I went out, I done up first. It wasn't successful. I done up 10 homes. No, wasn't successful. 50 homes wasn't successful. 100 homes. I finally got a lead. I'm like, oh my God, fuck. That's And I told Rick, I'm like, you know what? I got my first lead. I got my first lead, and it was a listing, right? So I don't know. I still remember the property address that I got my first listing, first listing. It was 916 North Star on Rose Park. That was the first one because I remember it, right? And so I went and I asked him, how can I go about it, everything. And so I took my first listing, it was the hardest listing I got, and it was the most, I would say, a interesting lesson I learned because we knew, but how I did it is first, so I'm going to walk you through it, right? So when I took my first listing, I asked Rick, so what do I need to do once I took that listing? He said, well, go out and don't knock more, right? And he said,
Repeat.
and then I was excited, but I said, well, I only have one, so I need to go out and repeat it more, right? So I go out and I down up more and more. Then I start picking up buyer. Then I start picking up more listing. Then I pick up more listing, right? But in that process, I did a lot of errand try. So the first one, so when I started out as a new agent, I didn't go to Rose Park to Donald. I actually went to my neighborhood to Donald. Because you know why? As a new agent, if you have no lead, nothing, you should not Donald. And this is my experience, right? And you guys can adjust on how you want it. I didn't Donald on the neighborhood that I didn't know, because I want to Donald on things that I'm familiar with. So I went out and I start passing out my business card to my neighborhood. And I say, hey, my name is Lieu. I'm with Century 21. I just got my real estate agent license. Do you know anyone who's looking to buy or sell? Right, that was the script. It's really, really simple. Remember, I like to keep things simple. So I went out, down in that neighborhood, and I didn't get any lead. But they know me. They know I was a real estate agent. They know that I got my license. And that is one way for me to practice my skill set, right? So yesterday we were having a conversation on our team, and Lou's saying that a couple days ago, even last week, she said, I don't see a success on this because did I do something wrong? And I'm like, no, it just, if you don't knock 100 home, right? In one day, you're gonna get 20 leads, mean 20 contact. Out of that 20 contact, how many do you think you can turn that into a business? Yes, 2. So don't be discouraged by door knocking 100 home and you get 20 contact and you feel, oh my God, this is great. I would say, no, that's not great because you haven't turned 20 of this contact into the business, right? They just talk to you, but they're not hot leads. They're not hot men, hot girl. I'm ready. They're not hot. So you need to convert them into what I call hot lead. And when you have that hot lead, it's a good lead, but that hot lead need to close. And don't relax. Once you get that lead, when you go out and you get that lead and you convert it to the business, you know what you should do? You should down more. You know why? Because nothing is for sure in the real estate business. And this is, I learned the hard way. Until you see that money in your bank account. Because deal can fall apart. I have 10 deal fall apart in 1 week during COVID. And you know how much that deal was worth? It was $100,000 worth of a commission plus.
Wow.
In 1 week, and I could not get that deal back because people were dying from COVID. My client, they canceled, buyer fell out. It was dead. And you know what I did? I didn't say, you know what? real estate suck. I didn't do that. I just say, okay, nothing is for sure in life anyway, right? So I need to get my ass back to work. And I did. I got back my ass back to work. And in 2 years, I bought 34 property and I flipped 34 property.
Wow.
Okay. So the thing about real estate, about this business is that when you go out and you knock that door, right? And you see that you don't see the result. Well, it's like just planting a tree. You don't see that tree gonna blossom right away with a lot of fruit. It takes time, right? It takes time. It take effort. It takes time to make a girl and a guy look hot. It's like
Some of us a little longer.
So now that you got that listing, right? You go out, you got that listing on that buyer. Then you ask, so how can I continue that process of door knocking? So let's say I got a listing in Rose Park, right? If you were getting a listing in Rose Park and you have an open house, what do? So once you get a listing, walk me through this. What do you guys do? Once you get a listing, do you continue door knock or you just sit there and say, oh, great, I got that listing. God damn it, I was good. What do you do?
Go back and invite everyone to come to the open house, and then when you are under contract, go back and tell everyone in the neighborhood that you are under contract, and when you sell the thing.
Should be pre, during and after.
Damn, you got good. That was what I was gonna say. So this is my process, but I just did a little bit different, right? So when I took the listing, so this is when I took the listing, okay? So when I took that listing, I do 3 steps. Sometimes it's actually 4. So I will go out. I will do either open house. And if the seller, remember during COVID, the seller, a lot of them didn't want to do an open house, right? Right? So they just say, I want to sell, but I don't want to do an open house. So I would do just list it, right? Okay, so once I listed or I did an open house, so if I would do an open house, I would go out, pass the flyer, and I would invite people to come to my open house, right? So after they come to my open house, I will do another door knock in that neighborhood. So I would do what I call 10, 20, and 10. So 10 home to the left, 10 home to the right, and 20 home down the road. So that is 40 home that I just hit. Do you guys do this? 10 home to the left, 10 home to the right, 20 home down the road? No? Okay.
Until now.
Hey, so how many, so if I was doing an open house and just listed 2 times, how many is that? How many times did I just hit that house, that neighborhood?
125.
How many to speak of? I didn't hear that.
120 if she's hitting it 3 times.
There you go.
Yeah, well, but if I were to hit another, like open house just listed, right? So that's 80, right? That's 80, right? And then if I were just to do another one under contract,
So you're doing it through each phase then, right? Lou?
yeah, under contract. So in 1 month, that neighborhood, that house, they get to see me how many times? 3 or 4 times. And I picked up listings, sometimes 3 of the listing down the road, like the same street. You know why? Because I was consistent and I was a bad bitch.
Right?
Yes, so.
Just so.
So I saw the house. I just saw it. I saw it over, let's say, last year or early this year was great. I saw, let's say, a home over $40,000 above listed price. I want to make sure that the neighbor across the street, down the road, to the left, to the right, knew that I just saw this home. And they get to see me so many times in that month. They was like, why are you here? I'm like, well, I'm here because I want to tell you, I just saw this house. And so I just have the team did that like 2 weeks ago. And I saw a land and I had them go out and dawn off and pass out the flyer just so. I picked up another listing from it. And the guy lived in the neighborhood. He said, oh, you just saw that land. Do you want to sell my land? I'm like, sure I do. Right?
Right.
So this is what I call consistent in door knocking. So when you get to the office, you got a listing and you say, you know what? I don't know what to do. Like I got a listing now. I need to go out and get more work, more lead, more. You can follow this strategy and you will cover that whole neighborhood, and it's called farming. You farm the neighborhood. You become the expert in that neighborhood because I am an expert in West Valley, Kern, Rose Park, Tula, like all of the West Side, Magna. If you ask me how much certain home is, I don't need to do a CMA. I can tell you a quick estimate how much I believe your house is worth. You know what? One of the things that I have done is I don't even, when I go to a listing, I don't even bring a CMA. You know why? Because I know the price. Why would I need to bring a CMA to show the seller? Sometimes I do, but I never bring it out and do the presentation. I'm like, you can sell your home for this much. You want to work with me or not? That's how it is. Right? I don't have, like, you get into this business because for many other reasons, right? You quit your job, you get into this business. Your job is to make money. Don't bullshit with me that you don't want to make money. Like, we always want to make money. So stop making the process of your business difficult. Make it simple. Follow a structure. Why do you think McDonald's, Starbucks, or fast food restaurants are so successful? You know why? Because they have a structure. They have a system to follow. Every time you go and order something, they know exactly how to cook that hamburger to perfect because they have a formula. So if you were following this formula, you farm this area 3 to 4 times a month. Do you not think you can pick up a buyer or a listing from this neighborhood? Raise your hand, do you think so?
Oh, yeah.
So one of the things that I see, and I do it sometimes too, is that once I took a listing, I just sit and chill. I'm like, you know what? I'm on a break. Nice to have a listing. But when I think about it, I'm like, no, I need that listing is not guarantee my commission. Do you guys think I still down off?
Yes.
Yes, I do. And you know what? Early this year, I remember in February, I went out and dawn off. And I was like, oh, why should I dawn off? I'm in a position where I shouldn't even have to do it. Matter of fact, I did it. I did it for my client because they need to buy a property in Magna or West Valley that have 1 acre or more for them to sell their home. So I said, okay, if I can get you that property that have 1 more acre or more, would you list with me? They said, absolutely. So I went out, I knocked on that door, and I knocked on one of the expired. And I asked him, he have a 7-acre lot in West Valley. I asked him, are you interested in selling your home? And he's like, oh, sure, no one knocked on my door. I'm like, yeah, I am here to knock on your door, and Jesus is here too.
Jesus follows.
My client didn't buy that property. I did.
Wow.
And you know, once I sell that property, I will make 3 times of my commission in 3 years. You guys do the math. I make a lot of money. I do. Because I want to make puppy money, so I need to make a lot of money. So that donor will pay me 3 years of my commission plus, and if I decide to build anywhere house in that area, that will be some of my pocket money, right? So if you didn't think door knock was affected, if you didn't think you can make money from going out and door knock, then I think the way you run your business might be a little bit off, right? Because think about this, as a real estate agent, we are a salesperson. I'm here to sell you to be in my team. If you want to be in my team, come and join my team. I always like to sell people everything. I like to negotiate with people. That's my personality, you know, but as it's a skill set, and it's a great skill set to have. And if you think that just picking out a phone call, getting lead online is one way for you to get business, well, think about this. What if we were going back to joining, like, what if you were a new real estate agent and you couldn't afford to pay lead online? You couldn't afford to pay marketing. What do? How would you survive? How would you motivate yourself every single day to come to the office, pay for gas, to continue being a real estate agent, to continue pursuing what you wanted to do? The only way to do that is to go out and door knock, because why? Door knock is free. You don't have to pay a single penny to go out and door knock. And people look down as, oh, with this, you know, generation technology, why would you go out and door knock? I'm like, motherfucker. Sorry, but most, you know what? I build my business in millions of dollars based on door knock.
That's it.
And there's a lot of agents out there can prove to you that they did build a business out of door knock. You too, right? Started out, I bet, right?
Somewhat.
Yeah. She done more. Well, you done great.
Well, here's what's fascinating about what she did and what we experienced over time is she's created a brand. It was really fascinating to watch how people would call up and say, I want to speak to the La Chanita, which created a brand because she took this area, mastered the area, which created that leverage in that space. And anytime you take Jesus with you, good things are going to happen. So as you create that brand, she leveraged on that. But that started with door knocking, getting the results, and leveraging into events.
Yep. And so my last point here before I think I have like another 3 minutes is when you go out and door knock, I know the broker teach you a lot of different script on door knock. And a lot of agents came to me and asked me, what do you say when you go out and door knock? And I say very simple, right? I asked them only one question, and I think Rick doesn't read. You might not like it too. I asked them, like, do you want to sell? That's it. Do you want to sell your home? That's it. And there are two things could happen with that question. Number one, get the hell out of my property. Number two, no. Number three, I'm a renter. So I don't go into a script of like interest rate, market, or anything. I just knock on their house and I say, hi, my name is Lieu. I'm with Century 21. Do you want to sell your home? And they will say, no. And I will expect a no all the time. But then I will hear maybe. Then if I heard a maybe, then I'm like, okay. So I need to start asking him a question or she a question. I'm like, so what do you mean maybe? How long have you owned this house for? And then they will start talking, right? So when I ask that question, do you want to sell your home? The reason why I use it such a simple script and to the point and not provide any value is because to me, going out and door knock, and I refined it like maybe like 4 years ago, is because real estate is about a number game. And door knock is also about the number game. Remember, if you were door knock 100 homes, you get 20 leads, you only get 2 actual hot leads out of that 20 leads. Remember that I went over? So how many homes I need to knock every single day to get a yes. I need to knock at least 100 home a day to get a yes, right? So most of the time, nowadays, people don't want to have conversation with you. Anyway, people have short attention. They just like get out, right? So I'm not there to first be their friend. I'm not there to tell them about, the interest rate or whatever it is. It's not my job. I'm there to hear a yes, like a maybe or a yes. And then when I go out and door knock with that script, when people ask me, I have two decisions to make. One, I can continue the conversation if they say a yes, or two, if they say, well, I rent. And then in that situation, I can make a decision to convert them to a buyer, or I can just move on to the next house. So when you go out and door knock, let me ask you guys, what do you door knock for? Buyer or listing? Listing, right? Majority of you guys go out and door knock for listing, right? So let's say if I would go out and door knock for listing and you tell me I'm a renter and I'm interested in buying. So if I were in that shoe, I'm like, great, let me take your information and I'll pass it along to my teammate or my co-agent to help you. Because I go out with a purpose when I door knock. I don't fuck around. I don't distract. I don't get like, oh, you know what? Interest rate is great. This is time to buy, No, I am not go out to door knock to get a buyer. I go out to door knock to get a listing. And what is my focus? It's listing. Yes, Jesus. Yes. Yes. So the thing is that when I go out and door knock, I walk fast. Like I walk really fast. So I want to hear a yes. I want to hear a yes. I have no time for conversation. I have no time for your yard is nice. I have no time for whatever it is. I just want to hear that yes. So when you go out and you door knock, you need to have intention. You need to know what you door knock for. If you don't know what you want, you cannot get it because you're all over the place, right? So when you go out and door knock, you need to be focused. What am I door knocking for? What do I want to get out of this? I'm spending 2 hours, 3 hours in a hot sun, burning my ass off. What do I want to get out of that time, 3 hours that I'm spending using gas, going there to door knock? What am I spending? So my script, very simple. Do you want to buy or do you want to sell? But nowadays, do you want to sell your house? Right? If I were going out and door knock with you, and I would just like, hey, do you want to sell your house? No, thanks. Move on. No conversation, nothing. Because if people ready, they will tell you. They will tell you. They say, yes, I'm ready. Sell me. Sell my house. If they're not ready, it doesn't matter what you say. You cannot, it doesn't matter what you say because time is limited. When you have 3 hours, you need to hit 100 doors. You need to make sure you get that bitch done. No, that's it. You see? So that is how I door knock. That is the process of me going out door knock. Really, really simple. If you follow just this process and then you understand 10 doors to the left, 10 doors to the right, go straight 20, you will see a huge result out of it. So anyway, I have 10 minutes for questions. Anybody have any questions? Yes.
So when you knock those 10, 20, 10,
Mhm.
you show up with flyers, right?
Yes.
Open house, just
Yes.
listed,
Mm-hmm.
and then the following week or whenever's under contract, you still knock those same doors?
Mm-hmm. Yep, same neighborhood,
Just
same
sold,
house.
Same
Yeah.
house, you still knock.
Yeah.
You don't need flyers, you knock, even if you talk to them already.
Yep. And they will say, why are you here? I'm like, well, I'm here because I want to tell you the home is under contract. I want to also tell you that I'm a hard work agent. I work for my listing. I work for my seller. So if you were to hire me, you know I will do the same stuff. You know that you will make the most money out of me, the most hours that I will spend because look, I cover your neighborhood freaking 3 to 4 times. You don't think I want to sell that damn listing? Yes, I do. And so and then most of the time, remember, statistically say that if one home go up, the neighborhood around it, they will start thinking of selling. So do you think the seller would be more impressed of an agent who knock on their door 3 to 4 times than an agent never knock on their door but call them and trying to set up an appointment to go and take a listing? Who do you think that seller would give more? Yeah, me. I work for it, right? And I understand the neighborhood because I know that neighborhood. I understand the pricing of that neighborhood. I understand what they need to do to make the house more competitive to sell. Why? Because I walk around the neighborhood 3 to 4 times. I know what kind of thing they need to do to make the house stand out more than the neighbor. And that's the very reason why most of my business are from door knock and from listing. I start taking buyer my 2nd year of real estate. Talk about it. No, yeah. I was like, no, my time is valuable. How can I make more money? How can I maximize? And right, buyer great, there's also money. But it's not what I'm good at. I go out and I ask, I want a listing and I want to sell them. So when I go out, I keep track. Do you go out and you guys keep track of your data? I'm gonna pass this out. This is extremely useful. My team use it. And when I go out in here, I track. How do you know if the result worked? By tracking your productivity. By how many homes you hit, how many contacts have you made? From those contacts, each time you do it, did you get a listing out of it? Do you get a buyer out of it? Because we lie to ourselves all the time. But the number never lies. So I always get my agent to go out, and me when I go out and knock, and I look at all this number, I'm like, what happened? You knock $100 or I knock $100, and out of this $100, I didn't get anything. What happened? Was my script off? Was I not the wrong neighborhood? Did I didn't do a good job, or what happened? Right? So I'm gonna leave this. I'm gonna have the team pass this out to you guys. Oh, everyone have it? So that way you can.
So Lou, I have a question.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are probably wondering this question also. Is what's made you so relentless in this process? There's a deep push that makes you just like, we burned the boats, we're going into this, and I am not stopping. Because that's what I've experienced with her over this process. That just relentless drive to make it work. Where'd that come from?
Thanks for the question, Rick. I think it's came from well, long story short, I came from a really poor family, extremely poor. I mean, I don't think any of you guys in here have come to live in poverty like I was in Vietnam. And I came here as a refugee. So even when I came here, I remember even Long and Lily can testify this. My family came here and we have 10 children, and we got evicted from our property, and we were living in a duplex with 3 bedrooms with 10 people in the family. And all that, it doesn't really matter, because in the end, it didn't work out well. But from that experience, it came to the point where when I went out and knock, I come to the point where I say, you know what? I have nothing to lose. What is the worst thing that I can say to offend you? Do you want to sell your home? No? Okay. Move on.
Next.
Right? I expect more rejection from it than anything else. And that's the reason why I'm so relentless, is because I feel I have nothing to lose. If I were flipping a home and I did a bad investment and I lost money, oh well, sad for me, but I will do it again. Because came here, my family came here, we had nothing. We were a refugee. I never went to school in Vietnam. I came here and literally at age of 13, and I didn't even know how to write my name.
Wow.
And the school, they said I was below, uneducated, like below like elementary level.
Wow.
And it took me, I don't know, 10 years to get to college. I graduated from the U of U with 2 degrees, and I went to Columbia University to an Ivy League school. I got a master there.
Wow.
So it's not about where you coming from. It's about your desire. And no one can motivate you beside yourself. And it's not about hidden heart, it's about persistence. You have to be persistent every day. That's how Donald works. That's how every business is. You will come and fall all the time. But if you persist, you will be successful. And that's why, like when I went to Rick and I said, Rick, this still fall apart. And he said, well, that's part of the business. And it's true. You know, I would love him to sugar talk, you know, sugarcoat the thing, but he can't. It is what it is. And you just have to take it and move on. And in this business, if you can make things more simple, then do it. Don't make the business so complicated. You know, I need to do like I know we talk about social media. I need to do all of this Facebook and all this stuff. But look, you are one man, one show. Pick your battle. Pick the battle that you're gonna go out and fight and actually make money from it. Right? Pick your lead.
Right.
And then end up when it doesn't work, then they get out of the business. Well, because you know why you all over the place. That's why. If you just focus, what is my high and best use of my time when I enter the office, then do that. And you will make a fortune in real estate. You would. Trust me, you would. Right.
Lou, thank you. That's incredible. Any other questions? Let's go.
You're awesome, but I was just curious, like, what time do you like to go door knock? Do you have a specific
Oh,
time?
yes. Okay, let's talk about timing. Hey, so you can't down out every single day, right? That's not realistic. I don't think that's realistic to me or to most people because you will burn yourself out. The goal is not to get burned out. So you need to set up a time on your schedule that week and stuck with it. Do not change. Do not change for anyone else. Change for anyone else. I mean like anyone else. If you want to be successful, you need to be disciplined and you need to stuck with your schedule. So usually, let's say in our team, we usually do Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And now, because we wanted to bring our down up to a different level, we decided we're going to do Tuesday and Thursday every week, no matter what. I don't care if, you know, if I have to move my schedule from listing or whatever, that time is your down up, is you're making money. Don't change it. So you stuck with, so you decide. You can say, okay, I'm gonna prospect on the phone Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And then Tuesday and Thursday, that is my time. I'm gonna go out and spend 3 hours. So you can pick either in the morning or you can pick in the afternoon. For me, I personally like afternoon because afternoon is where I can get most people. In the morning, not so much because most of the people that I service, they are at work. So I usually go, so I start preparing my door knock. I would try to get out of the office by 4. Then I would pick a location like where I wanted to go to door knock. So when I go to door knock, it's like I'm going to take a listing. Like I'm very specific with the location, with what I'm gonna bring and what I'm gonna say. And I stuck with it. So I usually go, so I leave the office between 4 to 5. So I usually do from 5 to 7, or sometimes I do 4 to 6 p.m. But most of the time is 4 to 6. 4 to 6. So I will put in 2 hours because I don't know really fast. So I walk really fast. So I don't need to spend 3 hours to hit an extra dog because I have family. I have things to do. So I want to go out and make it more efficient and effective. I can. So I start from 4 to 6. And if I start 4 to 6, then I get out of the office like by 3:30 or 3 o'clock.
Have you ever door knock in the mornings? And
I
did you
have.
see a difference?
I
in the
have.
mornings
Yes.
and evenings?
Yep. I dawn out in the morning and I also dawn out in the afternoon. And I can tell you, afternoon is way more profitable. Because I keep track of my leads. And so I said, okay, if I go out and dawn out in the morning, I keep track, this is the morning lead. This is the afternoon lead. Which day, and even I keep track the date. Which day can I, like most, that I am more successful in getting a hold of people. Because for me, I like system. I like to follow a system. I'm a very simple person. If you go and you give me a menu that have too many food, I'm like, this restaurant is terrible. I'm serious. Because if you were able to focus on one thing and you do the best out of it, you will be so successful.
That's why I love eating out.
So-
You see what I'm coming from? So if you can follow a system that you set up for yourself, don't over set up a goal that you cannot achieve. It's like running like a marathon. Like you can, when you start running a marathon, you cannot just like start running fast. You have to run like slowly speed, because you still have a long way to go. So set up a goal that will give you success. A lot of people say, oh, set for the moon and you can land on the star. Like, oh shit. Set up because once you see that money coming to your account with your commission, then you will see a success. Then you start continue. Yes.
I think I want to add on to you too, because I've done this before where I've had a buyer that wanted a very specific area, and I know you don't work with buyers, but they wanted to be in that neighborhood. They had to be in that specific spot. Go door knock it. What the hell are you afraid of? Because literally, like, they're gonna tell you no, but where you already have a pre-approved buyer, they already have an approval letter. What are your chances of getting that under contract?
Good.
Yeah. And I don't know expired and NOD just so I go out and I just every single day I come up with what is the kind of lead that I'm gonna go out and dawn on. Do I wanna go out today to dawn out on expired? Do I wanna go out today and dawn out on fiscal? Do I wanna go out and dawn out on just this? Just so don't and NOD, don't mix your dawn knock lead. It will fuck you up. Don't mix it. Focus. Okay.
Lou, thank you. Everybody, thanks for being here.